inaugural season of the VRL F2 Championship. Hope you are having a good evening, and we are very grateful for you joining us. Just a little footnote before we get started. If you want to see more content from your new favourite online league, please hit that like button and subscribe to VRL YouTube's channel, Hot Lap Mode VRL PS4. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter as well. There's the Instagram Vision Racing League and VRL Twitter page as well. Joining me on commentary, I've got Marine here. Marine, who is the one of our drivers from the VRL F1 League, if you are familiar. Good evening, Marine. Happy to have you with us.
Yeah. Should be a good experience, this new F2 League. Really exciting project. Started by VRL. Yeah, we're in Canada and should be a good one.
Good, and the exciting part about this is, given that this is a brand new tier and lots of new drivers joining us, we literally have no idea who is going to be the favourite, really. It's literally an open shootout, really. So from your experience, what do you think, well, in your mind, what were the drivers going to be thinking at this point? It's a brand new season, you know, everyone's just getting to know each other, it's all friendly, but now that the season is underway, it's all go now, it's all competition, it's every man for themselves.
Yeah, of course, some of the drivers, I know them, but and some of our reserves in F1, so their pace is well known, but yeah, there are a lot of new guys who are pretty unknown by the VRL world, and yeah, it should be very interesting seeing where they'll come out in standings.
Now that's really important.
First drivers heading out.
Yeah, and that's an important point that you made there, Marine. I mean, the name of the game for a lot of these drivers is seeking promotion into the F1 top tier category. So a lot of the team bosses from those teams and drivers alike are also going to be watching some of these drivers to see who can really cut it in the top tier and who can really stake a claim in future seasons to come to perhaps go on not only to win this championship but maybe the F1 championship as well.
Yeah. Of course, drivers looking to make an impression immediately in the first round.
So just to brief those of you that are new to Formula One or also new to the esports online racing leagues, at the moment we're going through a short one-session qualifying. Drivers have 18 minutes to set their best times, and of those times the top 10 will be starting on the tyres that they set their fast laps. So an important thing to note is strategy, and Marine, as I think those of us that are familiar to Formula One and also online leagues, strategy can be very important. Choosing the right tyres to set your fastest lap. It's not always about getting the fastest time, but also making sure you're able to maximise your pace in the race so that on Sunday, or in this case when the final race starts, you'll be able to come out on top.
Yeah, exactly. The strategy is key to get a good result in the race. Oh, and I see NRG Destructor has got a 5-place grid penalty immediately for a collision. He's lost with a front wing.
Sorry, it seems that I've missed that one. I mean, thankfully in his case he'll be able to repair that, but as you said, a 5-place grid penalty, that's not going to do him any favours come the race, especially the first race of the season. You really want to lay down your marker early, as we're just with Big Vrl 1325 in the Haas.
Yeah, and he was the first one to start his lap.
So we're just going to run through some of the drivers while we're here. So in the Mercedes we have Ties 0317 and Juan M. Gomez. In the Ferrari we have Burke KV and Red Sox updates. In the Red Bull we normally have Crash Vettel, however he's unable to join us for this inaugural race. With Mythos Sand, apologies mispronounced, and as Big Vrl sets his first time, but it looks like it wasn't. There's another incident there. From also in the McLaren we have
CP's with a 190 to open it.
So it's the first lap on the board. ICT beats a 1:09.0. Not a bad lap, although we are expecting to
Yeah.
and just after that he goes off the road at turn 2 and looks like a little bit damaged, or perhaps he's just slowing up just to allow the Mercedes to go through.
Interestingly, DRS Aquaplaning set his time on medium tire, so maybe put the reverse strategy to the rest, start on mediums and then finish on the softs. It could be a very interesting strategy to see if it works out. But
And that's a good point. I mean, the normal strategy for the front runners would be to start on the red striped super soft tyres, and then go on to one stop onto the mediums. However, the problem with that is those tyres are going to melt so fast. You're literally going to have to preserve them to maximise the second stint. So trying to pick up a toe there.
Yeah, as you said, the software really quickly on all those high tire wear tracks with lots of high-speed corners, and Canada is one of those where in like 5 laps you start to feel the tire wear immediately, and you're sliding all over the place around those corners. And yeah, the mediums and the hards in this game, they really come towards you in how longer you drive on them, so it should be interesting seeing if this reverse strategy works out and if more people will try it. So of course, if you're outside of the top 10 you have free tire choice, and you could just go for an unorthodox strategy like mediums or hards, and then take them long to the softs in the end.
Yeah, no, it's a very good point. I mean, if it were me going out there at the moment, I probably would, if I was fast enough, consider the alternate strategy and start on the soft tyres. It gives you a lot more freedom and flexibility throughout the race.
Yeah. Of course, we had the patch on this F1 game with the safety car frequency improving, so there will be safety cars more often. So on the softs you really have a big chance of getting a safety car immediately in the opening 5 laps, and you can pit and go on to new tires. Really benefit from that.
So Canada's always a very interesting track. It's definitely one that some people might be confused of thinking that it's all about straight line speed, especially in the final sector with the long straight coming up to the chicane in 14 and 15. But setup is important. It's important to get a car that I personally feel is good underneath and is not too understeery, but at the same time you're not oversteery either. From your experience, Marion, what kind of setup would you like to go for if, going into a race at Canada?
Yeah, well, Canada, the first sector is really tricky with all those corners and fast speed and also semi-low speed. It's really difficult to navigate, but yeah, in the end the straight line speed matters, because if you can't overtake anyone, yeah, that you'll have a bad race and be really slow. So it would be like medium low downforce. You would have like, you would go for top speed but not fully like in Monza or Azerbaijan or something.
So now we're coming across, everyone's setting the time so far with 10 minutes left into the session. It's a Force India 1-2 at the moment. It's Ice TV's on pole and Niltix 4 with a 1 minute 9.080, separated by 200ths of a second. And Force India, they'll be very happy with that, but it will be very important to try and sustain that.
Of course, Niltix is a F1 reserve, so he'll be trying to make an impression on his team boss to get him a main seat, possibly.
There's plenty of action still on the track. If you're just joining us, welcome to the live stream for the Vrl F2 inaugural qualifying session of the first race. We are with DRS aquaplaning right now, and there's a lot of yellow flags, particularly in Sector 2 and Sector 3. Obviously I'll try my best to keep up with it, so bear with me. Oh, and there's got Jelly 1987654, that's a lot of numbers. Having a bit of a difficulty coming out of the hairpin there. I probably wish I could see it on the replay, but looks like he might have lost the back end. He's pulling over to the side quite respectfully to avoid interrupting anyone else's lap. There's a lot of traffic in that final sector. That's going to prove a lot of difficulties for people on their fast laps.
Of course, it's very important to get a lap in immediately. It's very easy to have your time removed with corner cutting. Track limits are really tricky to keep within them, especially like those chicanes in turn 4 and 5 and the final 2 corners.
So we're with Dapper Roddy in the Mercedes as he just goes into the pits. I was hoping he might be able to finish off that lap there. So NRG Destructor 33.
Tim Cornell starting a lap on mediums as well. Very interesting.
So let's try and find Tim. So yes, as you can see there, so for those of you unfamiliar with the tyre types of Formula 1, so the yellow striped tyres are the soft tyres, and these are considered the prime option of the 2 fastest tyres. And this is the tyre that, if you are fast enough to qualify in the top 10, will set you up really well for the race ahead, as this will be the tyre that most people want to be on to kind of maximise the options they have in the strategy.
Sorry to interrupt you. This Icy Beast sets a faster time. He goes 4/10 quicker.
That is a good. That looks like a good lap.
Yeah.
That will take some beating. So apologies to those of you that were probably wondering what the tyres were that everyone was setting their laps on. Bear with me, I'm new to this, but as you can see there, we now have visibility of the tyres that everyone is fitted on and setting their laps on. And Tim Coronel goes second fastest, 1 minute 8.7, under, well, almost half a tenth.
Very quick level with mediums.
Great time. And this will also be a good indicator, even though this is all about a one-lap shootout, it will be good to see who can consistently put these fast laps together, because that will give them plenty of confidence going into the race.
Yeah. Of course, 187 on the mediums is very quick, considering all the others are on softs and he's second. So he'll have a good strategy and a good starting position for the race, so it should give him plenty of chances to challenge for the victory.
So Neil Tix, they're setting a lap time of 1 minute 8.8 on the softer tyres, so it keeps him in third place, which he'll be happy with at the moment, but as Pepchin 2805 has a bit of an off at turn 1 there, maybe, although his tyres are 2 laps old, so he'll obviously want to preserve those. He doesn't want to take too much out of them on the outlap.
Cars.
Well, there's a lot of traffic in the sector 3.
Yeah.
But as to the point I was making before, a lot of these guys, you know, they are really pushing on these first laps, but on the outlaps, it's very important not to ruin those tyres on the way out. And, well, this is going to be an incident waiting to happen here. 2 guys setting their fastest laps.
Yeah, Deborah and just Chris, very close, not well.
And you can see just Chris, he's doing well not to be too agitated, but it looks like he is faster at the moment than out of the 2.
As Dapperodi moves out of the way.
And then that's really good there from Dapperodi. I mean, he wasn't on, you know, he wasn't on an outlap or anything by the looks of it, but being aware perhaps it wasn't his best time. Ah, right, I see. Ah, that's a shame. But then, to be fair to him, he's probably thought, well, you know, there's a lot of, you know, it lost a lot of time following the Mercedes, so he probably thought it'd be better just to abandon that one. And now he's getting out of Dapperodi's way.
Mercedes of Juan puts himself into 6th position.
So be happy with that time. So just less than almost 4 minutes left of the session to go. Just to let those of you who are unfamiliar with Formula 1 racing know that you can complete your fastest lap if you are on one once the time hits 0. You can still complete your lap. So don't worry, if it goes to 0 and someone's on a lap, they can still finish it, so stick with us.
Yeah.
Again, it's the traffic again. On a track like this, you just got to find some clear space, and sometimes your laps can just be ruined.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you catch a good slipstream on the final straight, it should also help you. Yeah, it's you have to find a good balance between being too far behind someone or being too close. It's the speed of the outlap. Sometimes you've got to really lift a lot through the corners, and sometimes you can just go flat out through the outlap.
It's really committed there. I'll tell you, I mean, I'm almost expecting someone to actually completely lose it as Jelly goes into 12th with that time, or 1 minute 10.0. I'm almost expecting someone to completely lose it into the Wall of Champions. Very famous, obviously, for his name. And famous characters in the real life Formula 1 world, as that's a different way of taking that section. Drivers like Schumacher, for example, very famously, Villeneuve, even Jenson Button, former world champions, hitting that wall, just overcommitting into the chicane and then losing all speed in traction.
Yeah. It's very tricky, of course. You want to take the fastest route through a chicane is to go as straight as possible, but the curbs are deadly and it's very easy to get a warning for track extension as well. So yeah, you've got to find the right speed through there, which you have to carry the whole race long, and in qualifying, of course, it's a bit quicker.
And the reward is great.
On the limit.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reward is great if you can get it right.
Yeah.
Then you make up so much lap time.
Yeah, exactly.
So who have we got on track?
Starting your final lap now.
So
not
Magic
everyone's
Alonso.
Track. Some people are heading out now. They have to get in a very quick outlap, like nil ticks.
It's almost a little bit careless, wouldn't you say? I mean, we've got 90 seconds left of the session. It's about 1 minute 10, maybe 1 minute 20 now if you're taking your time to set a lap. But with so many people coming out at the end of the session, you're just going to get in each other's way. So, I mean, if you're at the front of the queue, great, but you won't get any slipstream in the final sector. But with the turbulence of these modern day Formula 1 cars the way they are, you just... There we are, Ryan Arder with a 1:11.7. He's not going to be happy with that time. He's quite a bit off the pace of the next guy.
Of course, we're looking at the F1 guys who had experience in F1, like Miltix and Magic Alonso and Kimi. All scored points in F1, I believe. So.
But it's a very tight field, which is good. That's what we want.
Yeah. Now the guys who set the time on medium are also on softs. Everyone's on soft, so it should be just a battle of who is the fastest on one lap from now.
I mean, if it were you in this situation, and let's say you were Ice-T Beats, or better still, Tim Coronel, who set his time on the mediums, would you...
they're not gonna make it to the line, I believe. No, it's 5 seconds. Well, that's not well timed from them.
Not even close. So is
the
anyone going over the line
is
now?
out.
So I believe
one boss, Tim Coronel and Ice-T Beats didn't make it.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, I'm not sure what happened there, but they obviously felt happy enough with their times. I mean, Tim Coronel, in my opinion, is well set up for the race, because he's got his time on the mediums. He's second, and half the field, by the looks of it, aren't going to be able to set their laps.
Magic Alonso. No improvement as well.
Yep, it's up to 4th. That's a good time.
Next car is Miltix, I believe. Can he get even higher up the field? He's in 3rd now.
So just couldn't you find him?
He's weaving. Not been a good lap for him.
For those of you probably wondering, you know, about the quality of the direction of this in terms of the camera work, I promise it will get better.
DRS Equipment up to 14.
And we
Boys,
also have...
puts himself into 5th from
Oh, that's a
13th.
very good time. Very good
improvement.
time. We'd be happy with that.
Yeah, it's a solid position to start the race, of course. In Canada, plenty of overtaking opportunities.
And we also have Robert Dornbos coming down the back straight. Will he be probably one of the last that still needs to set a time? It says Tim Coronel's still able to set a time, so keep an eye on him. And he's lost it, and that's a shame. And Tim Coronel does a 1:85, so Ice-T beats as well, setting a new time 1:8.2. So that strangely they were able to set their times.
So no one's gonna set a time.
So that's strange because I could have sworn that they hadn't crossed the line, but obviously we missed that. And Ice-T Beats and Tim Coronel have improved, and I'll be honest with you, I'm a bit surprised Tim Coronel. Oh, and there's a bit of contact there. Not that it will matter.
Yeah.
But as to my earlier point, I'm a bit surprised because Tim Coronel set his time on the mediums originally, and I think he'll be kicking himself a little bit there because he'll see the timesheets and he'll know that he didn't need to set that time, and he would have been on the optimum strategy and probably would have been favourite for the race. But that is qualifying, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that little spell, and again, apologies for the somewhat mediocre camera work from yours truly, but I promise that will get better.
Oh yeah, Niltix had a grid penalty, remember? 5 places,
of course,
so
yeah, that's right.
8. And NRG Destructor has 10 places, so he'll start in the last place.
Well, he'll be starting in a different city, the amount of penalties he's got. 210.
That promotes Kimi into P10 with free tire choice, so he has a great starting position. Maybe going for the alternative strategy on the mediums.
Be good to keep an eye on him, and Robert Dornbos as well. Be good to keep an eye on what he will be doing in this race.
Yeah, of course. From the top after the top 10, everyone has free tire choice. So it's up to them whether they want to do a different strategy to the top 10 or not. So we're waiting for the formation lap to start.
So for those of you also on the live stream as well, do get your comments in. Don't worry, I haven't had a look at them yet. I'm just reading through some of them myself. So it's good to see a lot of activity on this comment section, and we'll do our job and do our best to get through as many as we can. So if anyone who's just joining the live stream now, we've just had commentary, so thank you for joining us for the first race of the new VRL F2 season. Those of you familiar with the F1 VRL Championship, this is the second tier. And obviously, as you would know, the objective would be to get to F1. We've got the grid set now, and everyone, we are ready to go. It's a good start from Ice-T Beats. Tim Coronel, though, got a good getaway.
Formation lap.
Do you know what? Oh, well.
No,
it's beginner's luck. There's me a bit too eager. Bit too eager there, guys. Rookie mistake. Do you know, it's funny because I've raced in online races myself, and you know, sometimes you have formation laps and sometimes you don't. There's always those that wonder, is it actually worth it? Because sometimes it goes to the cutscenes and it just completely removes all of that work that everyone's been doing. But in this case there is, and I'll remember that for the next races, guys.
Top 2 is really speeding up, and car in 3rd is not that fast. There's like a train from the car in 5th. We're all really close. We've had this in F1 as well. We had some guys who were on pole. They were really backing up the field to prohibit everyone from warming up the tires. It was also very annoying from my side. So, but this doesn't seem to be the case in F2.
Is there any reason why a driver would choose to do that? Is it more for their own benefit or just to hamper those behind him?
Yeah, probably both, because if you are in the lead you can do what you want. It's just the car right behind has to make sure he doesn't hit you, and that goes for third to second and onwards. So the car in the lead has no one in front of him, so he can just drive how he wants and warm up the tires on his way.
Okay,
Everyone's
so
lining up now.
everyone's lining up, so we're just waiting for those lights to go out. So
Well,
hope you're all sitting
Matthias
comfortably. Hope you're ready to go. The VRL F2 season is go, and it's
Lights out. What?
that's a bit right. Okay.
Here we
now
go.
we're
Now.
go. Sorry, the lights were a bit early there. And it's a good start from Tim Coronel, who's going the outside of Ice-T, beats into turn one, but he just a little bit of contact behind him.
Everyone gets through unscathed.
Looks like everyone's gone through cleanly.
Nice.
This is where it's going to get interesting. So any collisions?
Niltix won 2 positions, and Matthias in 14th won 4 positions already.
Wow,
of
what
course.
a
And we have a spinner.
Oh, we have.
It's Kimi.
Oh
Former
no,
F1
Kimi.
scorer. Very unfortunate for
Oh,
him.
that is a shame for Kimi.
He'll be hoping for a safety car now.
And Burke KV has also got past Tim Coronel to second place, but he's just overrun the hairpin a little bit, and this will allow Ice-T Beats to get away down the back straights. And as you're looking through,
Magic Alonso is really close to Tim Coronel now.
yeah, he's right up. He's got a great run coming into the chicane. It's going to be really interesting. He's going to dive in, and he just holds position for now.
Oh, and Berkay has got a bad exit that gives Tim Coronel another chance at him down the inside of turn 1.
Oh, and Tim Coronel's got the inside. He should be able to make the position, but he's.
Here, so
Oh, they have touched.
Look at the better exit. Oh, it's a 5-second time penalty for Energy Destructor as Tim Coronel just get in front of Berkay.
Well, that's one way to get in front of your opponent there. But at the moment, so it's Ice-T Beats getting away at the front. He's just a second ahead of Tim Coronel.
Oh,
Burke
the 2 McLarens crash.
Oh,
And Robert Dorn was
no.
caught up in that as well. 2 McLarens hit each other.
oh no, that is.
No,
Oh, not again.
now
What
we have
is?
Jelly out of the
Oh,
session.
Jelly's out of the race. Contact with your teammate. That is just not what you want.
Yeah.
Oh man,
And we
that
have a
is.
safety car, so that gives Kimi chances to come back in this race.
Well, thank
He
goodness for
stopped for
Kimi.
mediums, so it'll be interesting what he can do.
Well, it will allow
And
him to catch up
Matthias,
to
the
the pack.
big
Yes.
winner of this of his opening lap, he gained 8 positions from 18th to 10th. Of course, he proved himself in F1 plenty of times. So he'll be hoping to make a good impression in his F2 championship.
So we
Some
have
cars
Dapper
pit
Roddy.
Dapper Roddy, yeah.
Dapper Roddy in the
Onto
Mercedes.
medium tires. Just Chris is still in the race, of course, lucky to still be in it because he had a big collision with his McLaren teammate as a service penalty for that, I think.
I mean, that's crazy. I mean, first lap, obviously everyone's new, but racing with your teammates so dangerously like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, we don't normally have team bosses in this tier, unlike the VRL F1 Championship. But if we did, they would not be happy with that. Absolutely
Yeah.
not. I mean, if you were a team boss, you wouldn't be very happy with that. I know I wouldn't be.
Oh, and Ryan Arda gets a 5-second time penalty for a collision under the safety car, and he's picked up some damage.
Oh, that's so
His left
silly.
wing end plate is gone, I believe.
Yeah, you can see on that left-hand side. Wow. I mean, I feel for him, but he's touched him again.
Yeah.
What is he doing? Brian, what are you doing? I mean, that's just gonna ruin his race now, because he won't be able to serve that penalty, I believe, under the safety car. But he's gonna have to get that front wing changed. That's for sure. So just to take a quick breather as the safety car's going through, and Tim Coronel is coming in.
Oh, and Burkay was going to do the chicane, but he just, when he saw Tim Coronel pitting, he also decided to dive into the pits, and that changes up the pack completely.
mean, would you
There's a
have
lot of
pitted?
cars. Yes, Matthias also pit for a new set of softs and a new front wing, so maybe he had penalty for the contact with Ryan. Ryan stayed out, he's up into 5th, and now Stein Koistra also up into 4th position after getting a worse start than the cars behind him. He's managed to gain those positions back. And Ryan Arda has gained 11 places since the start. So. And he's hit someone again, he's hit Stein Koistra.
Oh man.
He's now lost both
down.
his end plates. He's got big damage, he has to pit this lap. He should have pitted on the previous lap, because I believe the safety car is coming in this lap. So most of the time it's 3 laps.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the damage.
I mean, get the notification from the safety car in this lap in a few seconds. Matthias also gets a time penalty. Exceeding track limit. Safety car in this lap, so the field will be released. I burned my Lambo.
That's another penalty there for Ryan. I mean, it's strange because he was doing so well to start with. He's come into the pits, put on new tyres on, had his front wing fixed, and he's just done it again. It's just it's mad. So the safety car is just coming into the pits now as Ice-T Beats, so far the only driver that has had very little action at all.
Ice-T Beats can...
And he gets
Magic Alonso! Oh, he's spun and there's a big crash.
Big accident.
Has some damage from that.
Oh, and even further back, LG destruction. It's Tim Coronel. He's lost it, and this is just crazy. What is going on?
There's a lot going on. Very hectic start to this Canadian Grand Prix.
So Magic Alonso losing it at the Wall of Champions, and Tim Coronel's lost it as well. That is crazy.
One goes on to hard tyres.
And you've got Ryan going very slowly down into 10th.
Energy Destructor is on hard, so he will go to the end probably. But he's far behind, so if we can make up the time, we'll see.
I mean, do you think he can do 30 laps on the hard tyres?
Yeah, hards really go for a really long distance, and they come towards you. Even in the final laps, they're getting quicker and quicker every lap.
There's more contact.
Really slow.
I mean, this is crazy. I mean, it's brilliant to watch, but we're seeing plenty of action already in the first 5 laps of the championship.
Robert Dornbos has put himself in a good position. He's in 3rd on medium tyres.
Yeah, he looks like he's got that right, and he's keeping pace with...
Takes pits because he had the damage from the crash from Magic Alonso.
So with Robert Dornbos now, and he's keeping up with the Alpha in front of him, who's 4 seconds behind, but 2 seconds behind.
Mediums. The leader and the car in 2nd are on softs, and then until the car in 9th it's all mediums, and we have Matthias and Peter on softs. Then it's everyone on mediums and Energy Destructor on hards, who's pit again. He pitted last lap, he's pitted again for mediums, so he'll be way behind.
I think he got a penalty for that. Yeah, I think he went into service penalty as well. If you remember, I think it was track limits that he was breaching under the safety car. So he's gone to serve that.
The leader comes onto the main straight.
I mean,
Ice-T Beats goes down to 1, so he's almost being lapped here.
Yeah, and he set a new fastest lap with 1 minute 12.7. I mean,
first time.
This is exactly what you want to be doing. If you're Ice-T Beats, you just want to get your head down, set the pace, and just go. And he's doing exactly that. He's been completely free of any collisions, any actions, and at the moment he's controlling this race. And it doesn't look like there's anyone at the moment that is going to keep up. And as I just say that, Just Chris, a 3-second time penalty.
Just add to his race. On the medium sets the fastest lap.
Oh, that is a great lap.
We're
Very
looking
nice.
to make up a lost
Oh,
time.
and just Ice T Beats having a little bit loose on the back end there, but he's recovered it. Hasn't lost too much time. Got Robert Dornbos on the mediums. Now, Robert could, if anyone's going to catch Ice T Beats, it could be Robert.
Yeah, exactly. He'll have the softs on the end, so he'll have a massive pace advantage over ICBs. Because Robert Dornbos now in the DRS of Steinkoester. Can he make a move into the chicane?
Well, he's got the DRS open, he should make that.
And Stein leaves him.
But leaves him plenty of room.
Better exit, so really come back, but Robert has DRS still.
He's going to go to turn 1, aquaplaning, a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings.
Oh, there's contact.
Oh,
Mercedes Daparoli.
Yep, Daparoli.
But he caught it pretty well.
And that's disappointing because he was having such a good race. He found himself up into 4th place after the safety car on the mediums.
Yeah.
And that's not going to help his cause. Niltik setting a new fastest lap.
Any damage though?
No, it doesn't look like it.
Yes, his left plate is also gone. So.
Oh, that's no good.
It probably will not cost him that much time, but it will definitely have a negative effect on your pace. It will be like half a second per lap. Not. Yeah, you can still drive with it. Put it that way.
I think on a track like Canada, you're probably okay. It's more more tracks that require more downforce where you're really going to suffer, but you should be okay. Probably will be alright.
Yeah, but it's really tricky when you have not got full amount of downforce and you did this practice where you're used to having full amount of downforce. As
Berkay coming at
into second and ICB's pits for medium tires.
So he's going for the mediums now. It's about right. I mean, if anything, it's a bit of a surprise to be honest. I thought Ice T Beats might go for the hard tyres, considering that the safety car bought him a few extra laps, and he probably could have put on the hard tyres. But given his pace, providing he avoids any damage or collisions, I mean, he's slot back into 10th.
Overtake some cars now, so everything to lose for Icy Beats.
Yeah, I mean, he's come out into a bit of space behind Big Roo, and he's got his teammate Niltix behind him, so hopefully, despite Niltix's pace, hopefully those two shouldn't come together, and if they do, they'll be a lot cleaner, hopefully, than the two McLarens were.
Will Robert Dornbos and Berkay react to Icy Beats stop, or will they continue?
Well, given that Ice T Beats is going to be approaching traffic very quickly, it might be worth staying out as Stein goes into the pits there rather than overtaking just Chris.
Remember, the Robert Dornbos and Berkay are on medium still, go much longer. It's a mistake from my side.
Berkay's mediums are 3 laps younger as well than Robert Dornbos's as well, and so he's definitely got, at the moment, he looks really very well primed.
As he gets a 3-second time penalty for cutting that chicane.
You want to avoid penalties, it really does. I mean, considering how tight this field is at the moment, penalties could be the difference between getting a podium or scoring points or even a race win.
Yeah, Berkay has 11 seconds of penalties. And you can see it in his race directive. Robert Dornbos has got 3 seconds, and Icy Beats had 2 warnings, so if he cuts one more time, he'll get a 3rd warning, and that will be a time penalty for him as well.
So that's at the moment. Ice T Beats, and he's up into 8th place now, so he's past Big Roo 1325. He's also past Stein after Stein made his pit stop onto the medium.
There's contact.
Oh, what a collision!
I
mean, they're still going, but Berkay's he's lost both. He's lost the end plate on his left.
Chris is close right up to them now, and he's within 1 second.
Robert Dornbos looks like he's going to be okay. He hasn't got any damage on his car, thankfully, and he will not be happy about that. But I mean, what was Berkay thinking?
Berkay has got some damage as well. His left wing end plate, same as all the other drivers. The left wing end plate seems to really.
Oh, when he's late on the brakes, Robert Dornbos. Oh, I tell you, I mean, it's about the long game, these races, and I think as the season goes on, perhaps our drivers will realise this a bit more. But at the moment, they're racing almost as if it's the last lap of the race. Like they're trying to just get track position. It's crazy. I mean, I love it.
Into the hands of Icy Beats. He's only like 15 seconds behind them, so he's won a lot of time during these laps on new mediums.
It's not even that much. It's probably about, my maths is right, it's around about 7 seconds.
Yeah,
so he's really close now. You can probably at the back of the back straight. So Berkay doesn't pit, and nor does Robert Dornbos. Oh, and he's lost it! Oh, Robert! Oh, you should have pitted, my friend. Oh, no. And he's damaged his front wing.
Yeah.
And well, he's going to pit this lap.
Have to pit. Yeah. Damage is way too big to continue. It's Icy Beats at the fastest lap.
Yeah, and he's also passed Pepin 2805 to do that, and he's right behind Dapper Roddy. He's got to be careful here because he's overtaken really well, but he's got to make sure he doesn't hit anybody because everyone else is crashing themselves out of contention at the moment. And and it's a safety car.
Lost both of them, but
safety car.
Safety car, so that'll bunch off the field again.
Oh well.
2 safety cars in Canada.
And it's DRS aquaplaning. It's got a penalty, 3-second penalty for multiple warning. Well, I'll tell you what, this will help Berkay and also Robert Dornbos. This is the one. And believe it or not, this is the one thing probably Ice-T Beats did not want.
Yeah, exactly.
He did not want this.
He's lost his track position. He's now in 5th, while he was in the lead.
I mean, but I mean, he probably will resume the lead as they're quite close together. But if everybody pits now, which is what I would do, they're probably all going to put on hard tyres. Yeah,
just Chris as well. Dornbos.
Dapper Roddy. Yeah, he does as well.
ICBs will get his lead back, but everyone will be very close behind him.
Stays out. That's a strange one. And
he's done 9 laps on his mediums.
And Big Roo. So Big Roo and Pepin stayed out. I think that's a bad call, personally. I think they both should have pitted.
Big Roo has done 12 laps already on his mediums, so they're very old. Interesting.
And Just Chris. It's amazing how Just Chris has somehow, after colliding with his teammate on the first lap, and he's drove into the wall.
What? What?
He's
lots of concentration here.
And he's lost his front wing end plate on the left side. Yeah. Oh, I was just about to say that he was in prime position to be favourite for this race, and he's gone and damaged his front wing. And oh my word! So. I tell you what, and there's more contact. Who's this time? It's Big Roo. Yeah, he's just drove into the back of Pepin.
At the front of the pack. Why are they doing this? They're taking too much risk. We're in a good position.
Well, I don't know about
keeping the nose clean.
Well, I don't know about watching on the live stream or those of you watching on this video in the future, but if the championship is anything like this race for the season going on, then I don't know how we're going to be able to keep up. There's just so much action. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's literally almost one of those survival videos that some of the leading F1 YouTubers like to do, basically. And we've got 35 laps of this, and into the pits, Big Roo, and probably a lap late.
Just Chris has stayed out.
But he will he be able to serve his penalty? I'm just going to watch to see.
People are getting penalties during the safety car for corner cutting. It's not very smart.
Thankfully for them, though, they are able to serve their penalties under the safety car. So that's a little bit fortunate.
Yeah.
So just a recap of the order. After such a crazy opening 14 laps, we've got Ice-T Beats in the Force India, who from lap 1 is probably the only driver that has not put a foot wrong, really, and deservedly should be in the lead. And as I say that, as Astif Kimi has got a 5-second penalty for multiple warnings. I think a collision, a more collision from Robert Dornbos again.
Just be in time. No, he won't. He won't probably. He's far behind still. Even with the safety car, he was too far behind.
Yeah. So
there was almost a lap down to the leader.
And you've got Pepin in second place. Just Chris, after that first lap collision with his teammate, has gone up 9 places into third. Niltix 4 up into fourth. Robert Dornbos up to fifth.
We will do it. No, safeguarding this lap.
Safeguarding this lap. So we're about to get going again. Magic Alonso
Ryan
losing it at the World
will
Champions.
Just about get to the field in time.
Well, that's good. You don't want him to lose him.
To the hairpin.
So we're about to get going again.
Cars like Kimi and Matthias and Stein chances to get back into the race after crashing or having damage.
Oh, and Ice-T basically he's just left them for dust. Pepin has not been able to keep up with him. He's been caught napping. So the action's going to kick off behind him, and you've got Just Chris right behind on the hard tyres. Will he lose a lot of front end downforce from that end plate he's lost? He's on the fresh hards, so he won't want to cause himself any further problems. He's in a good position here.
As Berkay goes down the inside of Matthias, side by side through the chicane.
Juan Gomez has got the run on. He's got the run on Dornbos. And he's going to dive and round the inside. Oh, and he's lost it. He's lost it. Oh,
everyone has to take avoiding action, but some cars get penalties in doing so.
Oh, and Juan Gomez. Oh, and it's another collision. Berkay. Oh, I'll tell you what. A lot of these drivers, they're not really respecting the personal space between the two cars. They're just really going
look at
for
those 3 cars really close.
There's going to be a collision here, everyone. It's got to be.
Brody backs out, but he goes around.
Oh, he's got the inside.
Oh, how did it do that?
How has he stayed out the wall?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, fair play to Dapper and Magic Alonso is going to hold it round the inside. There's contact again, and they're still side by side. They're still side by side. And he's managed to make the move, but he's going to come back at him. Oh, and he's held the position, and Dapper manages to avoid the others coming back onto the track. This is
really closely together here.
This is crazy.
Gets a good exit. He switches. Of course, he has higher advantage. Dapper on the hards, and Berkay's on the softs down the inside.
Oh, and Dapper is cut the corner. He's got to give that place up, surely. He's got to give that place up. Oh, and Berkay, and that's a good overtake.
Yeah. Now Matthias is also really close. Can he make a move? Yes, he moves to the outside. Doesn't quite get there. Dapper has got a lot of straight line speed.
Yeah, he's definitely. Oh, and they've touched again, and he's gone into the wall. Oh, Dapper. Oh, that's such a shame. And Juan Gomez has got a 3-second time penalty for kind of the corner.
Meanwhile, IC Beats is pulling away. He's already 4 seconds clear from his nearest rival.
I mean, he's checking out at the front. What we are seeing, Marine, is potentially the man to beat for the season. He has been flawless so far.
Probably even challenging for F1, for an F1 seat.
And it looks like Chris and Niltix are still going at it, just rejoining this battle. And Niltix is on old medium, and just Chris is on the younger hard tyres. But it looks like he's getting frustrated behind that McLaren. Just can't seem to find a way through.
Yeah.
Oh, lots of the two Hasses contacted. We're just going to come back. DRS is open for Niltix, run behind just Chris. Still together.
Gets in front of his teammate DRS aquaplaning, but
he's
side by side.
Inside. Niltix.
Alfa Romeos
and
as well
they've touched.
behind each other.
They've touched.
It's
Niltix has been spun.
Romeo.
And
it's now 6 cars really closer together.
And Niltix has joined that battle now because of the collision with Just Chris. She's got the outside of turn 1 and he's spun him round, and it just sums up this race. It's just it's contact everywhere.
Yeah.
I think, you know, another
the
contact again. Oh, the Mercedes there of Juan Gomez at the back, almost colliding.
Robert Dornbos and Berkay are battling. Berkay moves up a place on softer tires and Toro Rosso is just overtaken as Dormos comes back down the inside.
Oh, he's gone in too deep though. He's gone in too deep, and that's going to allow Hank Pieter as well to get into the battle as well. There's going to be 3 of them going into the chicane, and Robert Dornbos with the DRS, and Hank will sit in behind him as well. And that's
saving his DRS to possibly make a move on this straight. He gets a good exit. Berkay.
Still has, oh wow.
Robert Dornbos has DRS.
It's got to dive into turn 1 surely.
Makes a move. There's a yellow flag.
Oh, and they're still side by side, and Berkay's just about ahead of him, but coming down into turn 3. Oh wow! What a move from Berkay. Putting those soft tyres to good use, and that's a fantastic move. And you know, and now it's another move from the Williams. Can he hold it around the outside? Oh, and he's touched behind him. Well, I've got to say, Marine, fair play to Berkay.
Nice one.
It's the first clean overtake I think we've seen.
Oh my god, it's raining.
Oh wow. Talk about... Oh, and he's lost it. Big Ru's lost it, and he's put it in the wall.
There are some raindrops on the cars, on the halo, you can see it very well. It's raining here in Canada, just like the VRL Season 3 F1 race. It started to rain in the closing stages of the race. Very interesting to see which strategy drivers are going to pick. It's really tricky to control the car with more and more rain coming.
And well, as if we needed anything else to spice up this race. Oh, this has been brilliant. I hope the season's a lot more like this, but I imagine the drivers are probably going to take note of this race and perhaps be a bit more respectful when battling each other.
Big Ru into the pits along with Ryan. Are they going on to intermediates? Yes, they are. So it's a gamble. I'd say it's too early for inters, so overheat them.
I mean, normally, from experience, you usually wait for the DRS to be disabled before the time to change to wet tyres, but it looks like they might have gone in a bit earlier. Obviously, we can't see on the telemetry if they have received that notification, but the track, I mean, if it's only been raining for a little while, the track's probably not wet enough yet.
Of course, if you are in a position of icy beats, you'll just wait for the DRS disabled notification, but if you're further behind, you could take the gamble to pit earlier.
Oh, and Just like Chris has received a penalty. Speeding in the pit lane, another 5-second penalty. I mean, Marine, I think you're going to have to check the race director to see how these penalties are stacking up, because it's hard to keep count. It's almost a case of whoever makes the fewest mistakes is going to win this race.
ICP still hasn't got a time penalty, so he'll win this race. Unless he crashes, of course.
Well, hopefully for his sake that doesn't happen, but
Pine also doesn't have a penalty. So Berkay has a lot of penalties.
So just to let you guys know,
12 seconds or something.
I mean, just to let you guys know, apologies for any sort of strange noises. I do have a bit of a cold I'm shaking off, so forgive me for that one as well. Probably have to forgive me for a lot for this coverage so far. But Big Ru's retired from 13th.
Mistake, yes.
Must have done.
Wall of Champions. Another victim.
Well, it's not bad company for Big Ru to be a part of, so I think he'll probably take that.
But again, say Mercedes in 12 is really catching Just Chris on intermediate, so it was not the right choice to go on to inters.
But it looks like others are pitting as well. Berkay's switched on to the
we have another safety car.
Well, now's the time, I'd imagine. Do you take a gamble?
And Icy Beats didn't pit, so he'll be dropping down the field massively.
Oh, that's such a shame, because, I mean, not to pick favourites, but he has been outstanding today,
Yeah.
and he put it on pole. He's got away well, had a bit of a slide early in the race, but other than that, he's been completely faultless, hasn't put a foot wrong. He's restarted this race 2 times now, and he's just driven away. And everyone else has been colliding into each other, crashing, making mistakes, and now he's going to have to do it all again. And it's another penalty. Oh, and it's Pepin with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So, and Robert Dornbos, our old friend Robert, he's found his way up into 2nd place, but he does need to pit to put the intermediates on. So Ice-T Beats will surely go into the pits, as he does. And he will no doubt put the inters on. And I'm expecting Robert Dornbos to probably do the same as well. And he doesn't pit. That is a surprise.
Very interesting.
I mean, does he know something we don't? I mean, it's still raining.
Retains his lead.
Oh, well, good for him. I'm glad that he has, because one thing I do hate to see, and that's drivers who have worked really hard, done all the right things, and after time, he hasn't got those inters warmed up yet. He's got to be careful.
Robert Dornbos gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car.
Well, I mean, it's the aim in the game is to be the fastest, but obviously in the right circumstances, and that's not one of them, unfortunately, Robert. And as much as I admire him finding different ways of finding his way to the front, once again he's let himself down with that one there, and Ice-T Beats will breathe a sigh of relief, knowing that
Robert Dornbos and Pepin are the only cars still on slicks.
Yeah, I mean,
interesting why they decided to stay out.
It is interesting. I mean, unless they know something we don't. I mean, remember, we don't get the feed from the engineers. Yeah. So for all we know, they could be telling them that the track could be drying up anytime soon. So they might be on the right I mean, Pipin has just put on those medium tyres as well. He's just coming to pits medium. So for all we know, he could be on the right strategy, and this could be the call that wins him the race, providing it keeps it clean. Safety car's still out, as we have Ice-T Beats leading this race.
Side into the pits. You can't do a drive-through under the safety car, so hopefully that wasn't his intention.
No, I mean, you are allowed to serve stop-and-go penalties or delays, but
intermediates,
and a change of front ring as well.
I have to serve his drive-through later. So it'll be pretty much race over for him. He'll be way down the field.
So Burkheim has found his way back up into 2nd place. So is Henk Pieter. Oh, Pieter, sorry if I mispronounced the name. So if you were one of those two, Marijn, you're sitting behind Ice-T Beats. It's raining. Obviously, Ice-T Beats has not had those tyres on in race conditions, so he's going to have to try and feel his way around the circuit. Would you probably gamble and try and think now's the time to attack him if you can, and unsettle him, perhaps because this could be the only opportunity they get to try and steal this race from him?
But they'll probably know that he hasn't got time penalties, so I don't know, it could be, it's down to Burkheim, it's a personal thing, you know, if the driver could be sensible and not make a move because he knows 2nd is the best what he can get. As you said, the driver could also just go for it and risk it all.
Well, not to mention the penalties that they all have. I mean, I mean, bear with us, ladies and gentlemen that are watching on this live stream and watching on the YouTube video at a later date, because the order that they're all currently in, it's going to shift massively depending on how many penalties everyone has got to serve that they haven't served already. So, you know, bear with us. The only thing we can confirm to you is that if it finished as it was now, that Ice-T Beats would definitely win because he hasn't got any penalties, as I understand at the moment.
Just Chris would get into second, I think. No, Pepine, I mean. He didn't have penalties, I believe. No. But he's still on mediums.
I find that crazy.
It started to rain much heavier now.
So Matthias has made up 15 places.
Squeeze also works.
That's pretty impressive. 15 places for Matthias in third. So and did he even qualify? I can't remember. It was
no, he joined during the qualifying.
Oh well, fair play. Hats off to him.
Yeah.
For joining late and starting last, and has found his way. And Ice-T Beats there, getting really close to the safety car.
Safety car in this lap. Ice-T Beats will have control of the pack again.
Well, he's done that so well. The 2 restarts he's done so far, he's been brilliant. But it's in wet conditions.
Burkhardt is trying to be really close.
I love it. This is
playing psychological games with him.
Well, if you've just joined us now, there's contact.
Damage to Renault.
One of the Renaults, yes.
Lost some
and it's Pepin.
green.
It's Pepin. He's crashed into Matthias. He's got too eager.
Ice-T Beats will probably go now.
I see, and it's a penalty.
He picks up his first time penalty.
Yeah, but he should be okay. I mean, that's his first. So Ice-T Beats leading us into turn 1 and turn 2. It's all clean behind. Very slow on the exit, and there's just carnage there. But we're going to stick with the front because Burkhardt has got a good run out of turn 2. Is he brave enough to stick it up the inside? No, he tucks in behind. Oh, and there's contact with one of McLaren's. It's Chris. Oh, and Chris. Oh, there's carnage behind. Just can't see the follow. And oh wow.
4 cars behind the Ice-T Beats all have more than 10 seconds of time penalties, so we'll be shaken up completely at this checkered flag.
Oh, and there's contact. Niltix and Chris. And Niltix has lost part of his front wing. Niltix has had such bad luck today. He's just been on the and Chris again. And oh wow, Daparodi there finding. I mean, that's a different way to go through that chicane, but he's found
the track limits. They both got damage.
Oh, it's under brakes, and he's overshot both of them out.
And the Ferrari.
Oh, the Ryan is there as well.
Avoided him.
And there's our one of our faves from the F1 category, Kimi. He's found his way back in the pack again.
Maybe looking to get back onto the cars ahead. They all have damage.
And Niltix is pitted. Robert Dornbos is also pitted as well, so he must have had damage, or maybe serving his penalty actually.
Yeah, probably is.
He is,
yes. The Swerve passes crew.
Pepin's still out there, so he dropped all the way to the back after that incident.
Tice is very close to Burkhardt.
Very close, he's right behind him.
So ICB's gone wide.
Oh, he's almost lost it there. You see from the rear view there, he's got Burkhardt behind him, but he's okay. There's a little bit of a gap on him. He's got to be careful in these wet conditions, Ice-T Beats. He's been faultless all race up until now. One mistake, and it could cost him.
Outside.
He wants to get that run right, wants to get a good exit coming up, and he's got a good exit. Burkhardt was okay, but he was a little too close to the inside. Has he got the straight line speed to get past him? And it looks like Burkhardt's got a lot of good straight line speed in that Ferrari.
Kimi is also fighting with Ryan.
And he's got past him.
Some contacts.
He's got past him coming out of the airpin. He must have got round the outside. It must have been a poor exit. Ryan must have. Oh, Ryan's going for it.
Something silly. No,
he's tried the. Oh, and he's caused a mistake.
Yeah.
He caused a mistake. Kimi must have been watching his mirrors too long, and Ryan has forced the error and has retook 9th position. That's it's an interesting tactic, but Kimi there just lost his bottle a little bit.
Yeah. Well done, Ryan. Kimi was scared.
Yeah.
Maybe he went down the inside, so he outbraked himself.
They must have expected the overtake, or at least
Oh,
Ryan
and
to go for
now
it.
he's passed again. Well clear of him. DRS is enabled again, so we'll...
Oh my word.
And now Pepine is on dry tires, so...
He's going to come into his own now, towards the end of the race.
Yeah, we were wondering if this was going to happen, so it has happened now.
Looks like his engineer would have been right.
Pepine didn't have huge amounts of penalties.
So keep an eye on him towards the end of this race.
3 seconds. As he goes wide. Of course, everyone will pit now, probably. Yes.
Yeah, you're right. Ice-T Beats is pitted, so's Burkai, Matthias is pitted.
They all go into
They're
the
all
pits.
going in, but I mean, I'm just looking through the pack now, Marine. I'm just seeing if there's any risk of anyone's going to be double stacking. It doesn't look like they are at the moment. I'm thinking Dapper Roddy is going to be the first driver that will have that problem. Kimi should be okay, and Ryan is still going. So Ryan, I think Ryan would have been okay, but he's going another lap. And Ice-T Beats has a clear track in front of him on the medium tyres, so I'm wondering to see if there's anyone that's going to put on any softs.
Oh, just about behind those 2 cars, DRS aquaplaning and Juan.
I mean, Ryan's still got the inters on, and those are going to heat up really, really quickly, so he's going to lose a lot of grip. And they've been on for nearly 10 laps as well, so they're quite worn. But Robert Dornbos is the first driver to put the softs on, so expect him to make his way out the field. And Pepine up into 8th place, but he's got 7-lap old mediums.
Oh, there's 3 wide ahead, there's a front wing flying.
Oh no. Oh my.
Of course, Ryan
Juan
Arlen
Gomez
is trying to fight them while he's on intermediates.
Well, Juan Gomez cut the corner there, by the looks of it, and
there's another safety car.
Oh wow.
My god.
I mean, I really do wish we had replays on this to be able to see all of this. I mean, almost feel like this makes another video on its own, just the highlights. I mean, Codemasters, if there's a way to get replays into a live stream, please put it in there for the next F1 game, because we need this. We're struggling to keep up at the moment, and as you can see, they're both diving to the pits, Juan Gomez and Ryan, and Gomez will have a penalty probably to serve as well. Ryan is finally going to take off those intermediates, and the safety car's done him a favour really, because I don't know why he stayed out personally. Should have put the dries on, and he wouldn't have double stacked, because Burkai would have been well gone. And it's another safety car again. It's a 5-lap shootout now, and Ice-T Beats was edging away again.
We're pulling in lap 32, so they'll have like 3.5 laps to gain some positions.
I mean, just looking through the comments, VFG Luke writing Canada 2012 VRL edition. Absolutely spot on, my friend. I mean, I haven't read through too many of the comments. I am seeing them. And thank you very much for those of you that are commenting in. I mean, please feel free to share this stream when it's done with your mum, your dad, your brother, your sister, your friends, your aunt, grand, work colleagues, your dog, even your pigeon if you have one, because this is crazy, this race. I'm absolutely loving this, every bit of this. So
we've got 13 viewers, so
well, you guys are awesome, and you obviously haven't missed a trick by the sounds of it. I wish we were able to cover everything that's going on, so bear with us. We are doing our best to cover as much action as possible. There's a lot of it. I mean, Marine, surely I gotta ask,
there's contact again.
Oh, is that Chris again?
And Robert Dorvos pulls into the pits.
Guys,
see how many stops, as Juan has made 6 pit stops.
Wow, that's
ridiculous. 7 now, he's made his 7th pit stop.
I'll tell you what, he's no stranger to action. I mean, fair play to the Mercedes team for bringing enough tyres for Juan Gomez. I'm pretty sure they probably had to do a whip round with the other teams in the garage just to make sure that they've got some tyres to put on his car. I mean,
Pine
that's
has only made 2 stops. Everyone has made, and IC Beats has 3, and for the rest, everyone has 4 or more pit stops. It's probably the most crazy race I've ever seen.
yeah, oh man. So, F1 fan 1426 saying hello, good evening, evening to those of you who are familiar with Arsenal Football Club, as I am myself. So thank you very much for that one. Good evening. It's Mikel Arteta, for all of his qualities, not to get sidetracked too much, but hasn't quite got the introduction of Unai. But that's enough of the football talk.
As the safety car will dive into the pits this lap again.
I mean,
we've got 18 viewers now.
This is chaos. I mean, I'm gonna stick with, and Burkai trying to pass Ice-T Beats a bit early there, but I'm still gonna go with Ice-T Beats to win. But I mean, this is crazy, and we were saying before in qualifying, people were trying to overtake each other like this was the last lap of the race, or earlier in the race. Well, we've got 4 laps to go, guys, so I'm expecting absolute carnage in these last 4 laps.
Soft seal probably, and the cars ahead, cars from 2nd to 5th.
Snow undergo again. Ice-T Beats getting away from the pack into
turn. There's a big crash behind Robert Dornbos and
they're still going, and Chris is still driving into him. Lads, he's tagged him again just to finish him off. Oh my goodness.
There's Dapperodi close to Pepine. You get a good exit. You can. No DRS yet.
So I'm just watching Dapper Roddy trying to fight off Pepin, trying to overtake him on the soft tyre. This is now the leading soft runner.
The tyres goes a bit wide, and DRS aquaplaning up to 3rd.
Oh, and Dapper Roddy just going a bit close there. He's poor exit. Kimi. Oh, and it's overtaken by Niltix. Niltix has just found his way back in the pack, and he's up to 7th, overtaking Kimi. And there's no DRS, like you said. It's this is to be expected. It's an absolute crazy race.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got to ask. I was going to say earlier, and Kimi's got a penalty again. Is the Vrl F1 tier anything like this?
No, it's much. Oh, and Kimi's been tagged round by Ryan.
Oh, well, he's respawned. Quite fortunately, there.
There's going to be so many incidents to review by the stewards.
I'm glad I'm not a steward this weekend, I must say. I was planning to go out later tonight. Yeah, plenty of action to cover in this race. Oh, and it's Matthias trying to hold on, and Dapper Roddy cuts the chicane.
He's done that so many times this race.
He's gonna have to give that place back, surely.
He got a time penalty for it. Oh, and he dives down the inside of Niltix.
Niltix now up to 5th, so he's coming up the pack. I tell you what, he's quick enough. He might get a podium.
Yeah, of course. There are so many penalties.
And Ice-T Beats is just checking out of the front.
Fine, going to the podium. We don't know. We can only see it at the finish. We have only got 2 laps remaining.
He's on 12 lap hold hard. A medium, sorry, behind. So he's got his work cut out to keep Niltix behind. But Dapper Roddy's also right behind him as well. Despite not letting Matthias through, Matthias must have had an incident, and he's got a time penalty as well.
Damage. He's got big damage. Ryan goes around the outside.
And Robert Dornbos looks like, he's definitely out now. So
trying to make a move on both of them. He has to. As just Chris is disqualified from the session.
I mean,
too many penalties.
I don't want to pick favourites and not pick favourites, but I'm not surprised. Chris has done well to find his way up the field, but so many times he's been involved in collisions and received penalties. So, and in these leagues, if you're going to be doing well, you're going to have to keep it clean, or much cleaner than that.
We go on to the final lap of the Grand Prix. Miltix is still close behind Pepine. He goes down the inside. He's got it done.
He almost looked like he brake checked him a little bit there.
Another chance at Pepine as well. Getting overtaken by 2 cars in the penultimate lap. Pepine.
And Kimi is right behind Ryan down the inside. And if they've touched, they're just going the outside of turn 2. And Kimi, can he hold it? He looks, and that's a good move from Kimi.
Good move from Kimi.
Good to see. He's not had much luck in this race, Kimi, but he's done well to get back up the pack.
Yes.
So I think you'll take some solace in that. Pine now. He's just been overtaken by Dapper Roddy as well, so I can't see him getting back.
As Icy Beats now onto the penultimate straight.
Well, he's been a fantastic drive from him. He's so many occasions he's had to restart the race 3 times, I think. Wet weather, he's dealt with it, and this could be ominous for the season ahead. And Ice-T Beats Worthing across the line is the winner of the VRL F2 Canadian Grand Prix. A fantastic drive from him.
DRS aquaplaning. It's very interesting, these penalties. He's well behind. Niltix.
And Niltix will take third.
Pepine into fourth.
So this is what I was talking about, everyone. And Kimi's up to 5th. Yes, Kimi. Yeah, good job.
Ties in 8th.
And it looks like everyone, and Stein's the last one across the line. And, well, it was a survival race. Everyone finishing the race has scored points. So well done to those of you that survived. Massive congratulations to Ice-T Beats. A fantastic drive to win the Canadian Grand Prix. And as you can see on the podium, it's a great drive from Ice-T Beats. I mean, this could be the season. This could be the champion right here for VRL F2. Very impressive, clean driving, almost faultless, and literally no one could keep up with them. Burkay coming in 2nd place as well. Had his incidents, but he was able to be at the front when it mattered. It's a good 2nd place in the Ferrari. And Niltix, considering he qualified in 3rd, I believe, and had some incidents, he struggled but was able to find his way back.
So, the full finishing order. Guys in the first 4 positions.
So apologies for the delay in the coverage there. Okay, so there's your final order, everybody. So the winner of the Canadian Grand Prix, Ice-T Beats in the Racing Point, was absolutely faultless throughout the race, controlled it from start to finish. Brilliant job. Burkay in 2nd place, and then Niltix in 3rd in the Racing Point. So Racing Point 1st and 3rd, leading the Constructors' Championship. Thank you very much for joining us. Please stick with us as we'll have interviews with the top 3 coming right up.
Invite them. Niltix.
So just bear with us now as my co-commentator Marine is just inviting them to the chat. And I mean, I've got to say, Marine, what a race. It was absolutely crazy. I loved every moment of it. I just wish we had a mainstream director that was able to help me keep up with all that action. It was absolutely crazy. So much action. And as much as I'd love to see this in every race, I do hope that the fields take note of this and are able to keep it a bit more clean, I suppose. So right with us we have Ice-T Beats has just joined the party. So Ice-T Beats, congratulations on the win. You are the winner of the Canadian Grand Prix. Outstanding drive. How do you feel right now?
I'm really happy that I won the first race of the VRL F2.
So I've got to ask, considering that you controlled the race from start to finish, you're on pole, you started really well, there were so many safety car periods and obviously the change in weather. At any point did you feel that perhaps injustice or that the race itself might be getting away from you, or something's going to happen that's going to stop you from winning, or were you just calm, collected and just thought, you know what, it's fine, I've got this. How did you feel in those periods?
Yeah, I had a lot of confidence, so every time if the safety car go away, I had a gap to 10 seconds to
Yeah.
the next safety car, so it was a really confident race.
Restarts were really good.
They were outstanding restarts. And considering that you hadn't been on the intermediates long in the wet weather, I was a bit worried that perhaps when the restart happened that you might not be used to your tyres, but you controlled it very, very well. Just tell us one last question. Actually, well, one more actually. Sorry. The wet weather. When it went to the wet weather, did they tell you that it was going to go back to dries very soon while you were changing onto your wet tyres, or was that a bit later on? Because we saw one of the other drivers, Pepine, stay on the dry tyres throughout, hoping that they were going to go dry again, and then it did. So, did your engineer have much to say on that?
Yeah. My engineer called me in for the dry, for the inters, and then for the dry again. So.
Good. So just one last question, if I may. So that's the first race of the championship over. You've dominated it. Do you feel you can carry that form on for the rest of the season? Of course, the VRL F1 bosses are going to be watching, and I'm sure they'll be impressed. Can you keep that going?
Yeah, I think so. I had a really good pace on Canada, and I have seen the calendar, so yeah, are good races for me.
Oh, excellent. Oh, well, congratulations. It was a great drive, and thank you very much. All the best for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
So, Berkay in second place in the Ferrari. So, congratulations on your podium. I've got to say, that was an interesting drive. Lots of incidents. How do you feel about your drive today? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was an incredible race for us, the audience to watch as well. And I've got to say, if we got more of that for the rest of the season, then bring it on. But hopefully, you guys can keep it a bit more clean. Just talking to Ice-T Beats about the changeable conditions. When you pitted onto the intermediate tyres, did you feel that perhaps this was your opportunity? Because he had a lot of pace, but obviously hadn't had much time with the wet tyres. Did you feel that that was an opportunity you could catch him? And so that's the second place for the first race. It was a good drive all round. As the season goes on, do you feel that you could have the pace to perhaps catch and beat Ice-T Beats in the next race? Or is there anyone else in particular you feel that might cause, challenge for the championship, I suppose?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I wish you all the best, my friend. I mean, as a Ferrari fan, although I try to remain impartial, I do want to see the Scarlet Ferraris do well. So, best of luck for the rest of the season, my friend. Thank you very much. And do we have Niltix in the
No, he
chat?
didn't join.
Ah, well, that's a shame. But yes, and good job. We'll see you in the next round.
No.
That's no worries. Okay, so thank you very much, guys, for joining us. As I said
Join
before,
us tomorrow in the F1 race.
yes. I mean, I don't know if there's going to be as much action, but it will definitely be exciting. I can guarantee that much. So as I said before, please like and subscribe. Share with everyone that you know. We are on the VRL Instagram and also Vision League Racing on Twitter as well. Thank you very much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your.